here with Nathan, checking out SETI from CGE, a hot new release coming at Essen?
Yeah, it'll be at Essen.
Essen 2024. Yeah. Please tell me about this beautiful looking game.
Sure, I'll give you the rundown. So yeah, SETI's coming out later this year. It's for 1 to 4 players, about 40 minutes a person. SETI is essentially our heavy duty sort of space Euro game that's coming out. We usually do like a couple heavy Euros a year, but this one we're doing, like, this is our big one for like the fall. It's designed by a person who's actually an amateur astronomer, so they're really hardcore about like the science aspect of this game. So It's not so much science fiction as just really sciencey in terms of space game. So in this game, it's all about searching for signs of alien life beyond our own planet. So you are basically representing sort of scientific institutions doing different kinds of research around our solar system and beyond to try to find signs that will point to, is there anything out there beyond our own. So the game is basically about, you will discover alien life, but instead of being like robots and lasers and pew-pews, it's more like weird signals from distant nebula or asteroids, that have like strange stuff going on with them. So there's 5 of these different kind of alien discoveries that you can have experience in the game. But you shuffle them up and pick 2 at random. So you don't know what you're going to get each time you play it. Ooh. It adds some variability so that when you're playing, you won't know which ones you're going to get to unlock them. You unlock usually both of them before the end of the game. Each one comes with its own sort of unique deck of cards and abilities and sort of focus. It adds a new mechanic that layers onto the main game itself. Some of these are still TBD, they're being finalized as a prototype. Yep. But this one in particular represents sort of like the really far distant discovery. So like it takes a long time for the information from this to come back to Earth. So when you play the cards for this, when you do an initial effect, but you also get like a delayed effect that comes, you mark the victory point track 15 spaces ahead of where you're at. And then when you get there, then you get to resolve the other effects. So it's sort of each one has a kind of a unique spin on what you're doing elsewhere in the game. There's one that's like a pick up and deliver system. They're just kind of a unique little added flavor and sort of stuff to kind of spice up the game. And it's different each time, so the combinations can be really unique. But in this game, essentially, you're looking towards discovering these alien discoveries. And there's sort of 3 kind of core areas in the game that you're working to get these different kinds of signals that let you do that. So the first thing, you start out with some money, some energy, and some cards, essentially.
I love these components.
Yeah. So these are prototypes now, but these they'll be re-plastic. It's like recycled plastic, and
like
we're also
yeah.
And these will be re-wood, so they'll be they're both recycled materials, recycled plastic and recycled wood.
Very cool.
But yeah, so these aren't the finalized colors either. Still kind of fine tuning that. But basically, you have 5 rounds, and each round you're going to be taking sort of on your turn. You'll take like a main action, and you can take potentially some bonus actions. And you'll go around the table until everyone kind of runs out of stuff to do. Then it resets. You get more resources, and you start again. Okay. Resources are kind of tight in this game, so there's sort of a market system where you can kind of shift different things back and forth, but you're going to be trying to spend energy, money, and your cards to kind of do different things. So one of the things you can do, focusing sort of on this sort of central solar system that does rotate over the course of the game, is you can launch probes from Earth. So when you launch a probe from Earth, you usually have only 1 probe at a time typically, you can then spend energy as a bonus to kind of fly it around to different areas. As you fly to different planets, for example, you'll get different kinds of reputation it will boost because people will be hearing about what you're discovering. That can be used to spend on upgrades later on for technology. But once you get to a planet, you have the option on a future round to then kind of delve deeper into what's going on there. So if I was over here on Jupiter and it was my turn and I wanted to spend some resources to explore Jupiter better, I would kind of zoom over here and take my little prototype probe and whatever it's called, and then head over to Jupiter. And I have 2 options, or a couple options actually. I could put it up here in orbit and make it a permanent satellite. So I'd lock it in there and I would get some different bonuses for doing that. That costs some resources, but maybe I want to spend more resources and go directly to the planet itself. I could get, if you're the first person, you get an added bonus, but also I would get some more points, and then this unlocks, I would get the first yellow sign, which would let me pick one of these available yellow spots to then cover up and get some more goodies. You get a little bit of a combo there. And then now this is 1/3 of the way from being unlocked, for example. And all players will be working towards this kind of together, but it's not a cooperative game, you're still competitive, but if you get here first, you get more goodies for doing that. But once these unlock, then you get the bonuses that you'll uncover. So the also thing is that most planets have their own moons. You can't land on them initially, but you can upgrade your technology to eventually get to do that. And these are much more powerful in terms of the points you get, that you get multiple things. It can do a lot of things quicker, and those lock in so other players can't use them once you use them. So that's one sort of slice of the game. The second piece is focused around the sort of outer ring. So inside the galaxy, you're launching probes. That takes a while. They're going, traveling around and landing on places. But these represent like farther distant nebula and like exoplanets that you just can't reach. It's too far to get there. So the way you study them is by pointing your telescopes at different sectors and sort of gathering data from that. So that's an action you can kind of trigger. It costs some money and some resources to do. And then what you do is you'll look at the sector you're kind of studying. You'll gather some data from that and put it in your computer for later because you can process that and get some goodies. And then you're going to mark that you've been studying there. And and you get some points for doing that as well. But as this fills up, with multiple players can also work together to kind of fill these up. When it maxes out, whoever has the most there will then get to the bonus, and they have different options, but mainly you're also going to want to get the purple science from these. So I would then say, cool, I'm going to mark this purple thing, get a bonus. Now this is 2/3 of the way from being unlocked.
Gotcha.
So that's, you get points from doing all this stuff, but you also like are accumulating working towards unlocking these different these alien discoveries. And then sort of the third big piece of the puzzle is all these upgrades you can get for your player board. So back on Earth, you've got your sort of systems that you're using to propel all these different discoveries and scientific research. The orange ones relate to sort of your probes, and they make it so you can have multiple probes at once. You can land on planets for cheaper. This one lets you land on moons and so forth. So you get those upgrades, and they give you goodies when you get them, but also you can actually do more with your probes. The purple color relates to sort of the outer ring and your telescope, so it gives you more options for like where you can point your telescope and how many times you can use that in a turn, so you can kind of start building combos in that way. And then the sort of third piece of the puzzle is the blue, which is the engine. It's like your computer system. So as you're gathering data from doing all these other discoveries and stuff, you'll sort of amass all this stuff on your player board, and as a free action you can use it to slot in and start just getting bonuses as you need them, right? So and you go down the line, and once you unlock it, you can also go downwards too. And these are mostly empty when you start, but you're going to get different upgrades you could slot in to build your engine there. When you get all the way to the end, for example, you'll then sort of complete the system. This will give you a discovery of the blue alien signal, and then you're going to wipe all of this out and start over with it, so you can kind of keep the cycle going, reusable engine essentially. You can always slot more things in there until you fill it up. So then when this is discovered, all three of these are unlocked. You're going to uncover whatever this is. In this case, we've got this sort of green signal from the deep space. And then that opens it up for all players to use. So next time someone discovers a yellow, they can pick one of these other ones to use, and then they can some of them are unique in that you have to spend data to get there. You have to, some let you draw cards. You have different options. And usually both of those will unlock over the course of the game, so you have time to kind of explore those further.
And then are you like marking?
Yeah, as you would upgrade, if I was the next time I get a blue, I'd be like, maybe I want this one and get 15 points instead. And you can kind of, some of them are also linear, some of them are more of just pick and choose, so it's interesting. Each one is sort of a unique approach. And then a couple other pieces of the puzzle. Anytime anyone upgrades any of the technology, it rotates the galaxy. So you'll use this little token and go boop, and whichever one it passes through is the level that you'll shift. So over time, sometimes you'll find that other people's tokens will move around. That could put you in position to like line up for a combo where you can get somewhere quicker without having to spend as much resources, or it can stick you sometimes like in an asteroid field, for example, where it's like you have to spend more money to get out of that. It's they're kind of like they speed bumps basically. But the board's always shifting over the course of the game as people upgrade their stuff. So paying attention to what other people are doing and then trying to align what your plans are. It's like if I move here and then we shift and it go upgrades, I'll be that much closer to get to Saturn, for example. You can kind of line up combos in that way too. So the galaxy is always sort of shifting and cycling.
Cool.
And then the last final kind of thing is the cards themselves.
Yeah.
So you start off with some basic resources in the game. You've got some money, some energy, and some card draw. That can be expanded through cards essentially. So cards can be used in 4 different ways. You can take a card, just ditch it you get rid of it and discard it to use a quick ability, just get some quick resources if you don't want to use the card. Or you can spend money to kind of do the mission itself. Those are usually more powerful, and some cards give you bonus missions. So once you play it, you can stick it on your table in front of you, and when you fulfill these conditions, you get some additional goodies. That can be helpful. So that's another way to use the cards. The third way is, I mentioned this resource engine that you start with. Initially, you only have a little bit each round, but certain places where you land on the board let you add your cards to your engine, so they can eventually be kind of expanded. So that lower corner lets you add in more stuff. So next turn, I'm going to get more resources.
Okay.
So you're growing that because resources are kind of tight, and over the course of time, you're going to get more options to get more each round. Lets you do more stuff essentially. So you're trying to squeeze as much actions as you can out of what limitations you have in your resources.
There are tons of cards too.
There are over 200 cards, and each of them are based on actual missions, asteroids, initiatives. They're all from actual space, like SETI, NASA, and other space agencies. So we have 10 different artists working on the art for these. So it's a lot of It's a lot of people doing a lot of work.
Cards.
Yeah.
I was really excited when I heard there were going to be like tons of cards.
Yeah, the cards are really interesting in that they nudge you in different directions strategically based on what you start off with. Because if you've got cards that kind of help you in a certain direction, you're going to start in that area to kind of get the most benefit from that. And then also there's some modular. You can shuffle them and get randomized sort of end game bonuses. So as you cross certain parts, these little markings on the player track, you can then claim in one of these goals, and then when you fulfill that, you get the points for that. So there's a lot of different ways to score in the game. It's kind of a big engine building point salad space here.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's SETI. It'll be coming out at Essenspiel in Europe, and then in the US will be kind of PAX Unplugged is when we'll be getting copies, and then retail shortly after that probably.
Awesome. Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, no problem.